Welcome back to Rebirth Rereads. This is Detective Comics number 938. We have here the variant cover by Raphael Albuquerque. He uses his yellow effect here that he uses in a couple other covers. He does really like this really flat color background, whether it's black, white, yellow, or another color, over which he likes to have these very dramatically lit characters. This week's cover choice was very difficult for me because the variant cover by Alvaro Martinez also features my favorite character, spoiler, Stephanie Brown. I didn't really like the proportions of the way Martinez drew her, even though he's my favorite artist from the series. So I went with Albuquerque. I also wanted to have a second Albuquerque spoiler, since he drew one of my favorite single issues of spoiler in Robin Spoiler Special by Chuck Dixon. And he drew this cover here with Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown as spoiler back in 2008. Really great issue. Do recommend you get it. Now, this issue, however, was a really wonderful fight scene. It's basically just Batman's team and Batwoman's team versus the colony. Jacob Kane and his soldiers wearing bat armor. Our creators, as always, are James Tynion IV, and this time it's Alvaro Martinez and Javier Fernandez on pencils and inks, with Brad Anderson on colors again. However, there is a slight change. Because of the double shipping nature, and this is the third issue in a row that Martinez was doing on the twice monthly schedule. These first 4 pages were done by Al Baranuevo, who would later do a fill-in issue of Detective along with a couple other artists. Baranuevo is a very solid artist, but I think his figures are a bit muddy here. If you look at the details, it's not nearly as clean lined and relies a lot more on shadow flashbacks. Now that is partly because this is a flashback technique, and Tynion wrote this section deliberately to give Martinez 4 pages off so he could draw the entire battle, which was very complicated and well choreographed. There was a controversy when this first came out because Gabrielle Kane, who is Jewish, had a Christian cross. Tynion got the editors to fix that for the digital copy, and I think for the trade. I think I checked it in the trade, and it is a Star of David. And that gravestone recently reappeared, and it was a Star of David. There is a great amount of fighting in this issue. The heart of the issue, of course, is that Batman has escaped from the colony and his team has come to rescue him. So it's basically just everyone getting an amazing moment or several moments. There's so many great fight scenes and moments in this issue that it'd be very difficult to do it full justice without doing a panel by panel. Alvaro Martinez has always done some of the best fights, but I want to really highlight one scene where Tynion uses a great action movie shorthand, where you see a large group of soldiers waiting, and then an elevator shows up with one person, in this case Cassandra Cain, the best fighter, and then she just takes them all out, leading to a wonderful page where she's just standing smiling by herself over a heap of unconscious bodies. Really highlighting Cass's abilities. It doesn't, unfortunately, show the choreography, which would be really nice, but that kind of thing takes a lot of space, and since Tynion was trying to give every character a moment instead of just a huge Cass battle, which we will see much later in the arc League of Shadows, which is focused around Cass, he decided to just use this shorthand to show just how awesome Cass is. So that's our artistic highlight, is that shorthand that's just really well rhythmically paced by Tynion and Martinez. Some callbacks. I already mentioned the General. This is a very different incarnation of the General. He has the same name, and he's also a Robin villain, clearly a villain antagonist for Tim Drake. But instead of being really focused on the history of military, he's very much cutting edge, a hacker, kind of a sociopath. He's very much kind of a troll. I don't think there's a lot of commentary on internet culture there, but I do think Tynion is using a fairly recognizable trope in that character, and I think it's effective. The general will take a much more recognizable format near the end of the run, but we won't see that for another month and about a half. So in the end, this is probably the best iteration of the Batman and Batwoman's team fighting a group of enemies that you're going to get in this entire run, because everyone gets a moment to shine, and this is the team at their most cohesive. The events of this arc fracture the team, and it just gets more splintered as the run goes on. So this issue is just a really wonderful highlight of how the team can work together. I would definitely give this a boost because of just how well each character is handled. So instead of a 7 for the last several issues, this gets an 8 out of 10 stars. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.